Switching to auto binds for 30 days to see if it's actually worth it. I'm also using my own map that isn't released and testing to see how good it is as well. This is the most optimal routine in the world that I have on screen, and we'll be putting this to the test because for the first time ever since I started this channel, I'm not playing every day. I know how despicable of me to have a life. On the first day my aim was not bad, however it was far worse as I have turned aim assist off on this map. This is to make my aim better in game where aim assist is allegedly on. The glider tracking is so much harder than on Resub's map, which I hate, but killing players out of the sky will be much easier as these spots are harder to hit for some reason. Now for AR tracking, I use these dummies as A, I'm terrible at making maps, and B, you don't do extra damage for headshots, making it longer to kill them. Now in Peace Control, this is where binds changing matters. What even are my binds? Well, it's the same as Builder Pro, however I changed the switch mode to right on the D-pad and made the switch materials to the right stick, which is definitely more optimal, getting rid of my edit delay. This would allow me to reach a new skill ceiling that would end up making me perform better in game. A few building was alright, but I needed time to adjust to the new binds. Since I never changed my binds before, it was like switching inputs. Then I went into realistics where I won 12-6, but nothing was too flashy and it was more just movement that won me the fight. I'm just gonna face through. There we go. Lovely. Dead. Oh. Should make a door edit, mate. Bad idea. In reload, we go and just dominate bronze 1 since I never played ranked reload prior. Final guy, there he is, beamed, dead. Wow, that was boring. Just gonna track this guy out the sky. Wait, did I say reload? Wasn't it meant to be? Oh, yeah, scrims take way too long to queue, and I don't have the time for that, so that's why I'm switching it to reload. If I was maybe in a different scrim server, I'd probably be fine. However, as time went on, I had a very pressing issue with the aim dueling, being that 200 health wasn't effective, meaning that I went and buffed it all the way up to 1100 health instead, so I got better results as time would go on, and see why map creators do that instead. Now when it came to my mechanics, the changes were taking time for me to get used to, which is natural. However, I did lower my level for a time being. As shown right here, I'm struggling to make edits properly, and I'm getting messes up constantly. Despite this, my glider tracking was fine, and I was feeling the improvement without the aim assist. This led me to fighting well in realistics and using the fighting meta of just phasing in to win fights, as shown right here. Day 6 and improvements were already started to show, with my glider tracking significantly improving since the start of the year. As shown here, not needing aim assist to kill the bots in the sky. I was adjusting well to the new binds for my mechanics, my edits were smoother and I was quicker in transitioning between build and edit mode, and in realistics I was full piecing and selling the clip with poor shotgun aim. Day 8 would demonstrate the improvements that I made in a single week, with me being able to track gliders much better than before. My piece control improving despite sometimes going into my inventory when trying to edit and catching up to the level before I made the switch, which is important because my target was to be able to be better than I was at the end of the month. On day 9 my piece control was fine and my improvements were just standard. However, I'd be absolutely abusing the meta, fully adapting to it and just using phase ramps to get in despite playing on roughly 30 ping in realistics, and also just good piece control and fighting well. Dead. Let's go. Easy. Day 12 I discovered that I could do an instant reset, which I binded to the left on the D-pad. Day 13 I started to make use of this mechanic, as well as continuing to full piece everybody constantly. As well as then finding the reason why you should eat your vegetables. I also forgot that I hit this clip. Day 15 would start to be where my aim and mechanics were better than before, finally reaching the best I'd ever been so far, halfway through the month. This obviously made me much happier than I was before, and I was high spirits. I wanted to play the game as much as possible, and despite the fact that I wasn't actually playing every day, it felt so much better. Wait, I spoke too soon, as I would start to get absolutely bullied badly in realistics by everyone for the first time getting full pieced and killed. Constantly just making my entire flow really bad. I was demotivated and was wondering where it all went from before. However, the day would also impose a far better ability in endgames, hitting clips left, right and centre, having good awareness. Why are you jumping in, bro? Oh. Alright, I just dropped him. Hold up, did I just hit a clip? However, I'd end up going up against a fake shark in realistics, and that's when I started to cook again. And from there, I was hitting my peak. Days going by and I was playing the best I had ever had. Good kill. Final player. 13 kill win, not bad. Hold on, why is the aim kinda cooking? Wait, hold on, why am I cooking here? With bullet drop, by the way. Perfect run, first time I've ever done that. Even going and getting my 100th in-game kill, I know it's AFK, I don't care. As time went on, the improvement I made was night and day. Shooting players out of the sky, killing players easily, and as the final day of the month approached, it was time to see if the new binds were actually worth switching to, or if I was completely wasting my time. So without further ado, let's conclude the video. And after a full month, I was far better than I was before. My aim was brilliant. As you can see, my glider tracking was brilliant. My long range AR tracking was also good, despite being so far away. My mechanics were also near a pro level, as you can see right here, easily piecing up the ball as shown here. This was further demonstrated in my free building, where my mechanics were shown to be much better than they were before. My fighting was also good enough that I could actually keep up to an extent. I wasn't dying easily, I wasn't playing too badly, even though I was still losing. And in my end games, I was good enough that I could actually be a fragger in solos and get plenty of high kill end games. As shown right here, I was still going basically band for band with every single player in the lobby, and at times I was literally just on height for some strange reason, which I'm not used to. Dropping down and then almost fragging out and getting the win from it. And it just shows the biggest difference that I've made. I didn't even play that much of it because of how things ended up turning out. But yeah, it's brilliant. And with that, I want to thank you for watching. Check out how Clix is the best player in the world in the description below. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.